Welcome back everyone. In this video we are going to learn about return and how to use return and what extra functionality can return give to our user defined functions that we have been creating in our last videos. So these are some of the examples that we did code out in our last video. So in this video we are going to start with using return. Let's name it, create it a markdown. Let's change this to and capital U. Now, we have already covered about parameters, argument, creating your first function, and a bit of introduction about functions. Now, what exactly is return? To show the importance of return, let's look into a quick example. So, def add, and if I pass n1 comma n2, and let's say over here, I'm just gonna write print n1 plus n2, not much more, only this much. And if I do add n1, let's take two values 4 comma 5, so it's gonna print me back 9, but let's say sum, if I try to assign the value of these two numbers, that is 4 comma 5, that is the summation of 4 comma 5, okay, to a variable, then it won't be possible. Now if I check print sum, it is empty. Sum is empty because this function is not returning me back any value. What you see right now, 9 is just an print function. Okay, it is happening inside of this block. In this block you have just written that it should be printing out the sum of it, but this function is not returning me back any value. That is, this should be returning me maybe for some xyz reasons you want the value back to some variable and do some operations. So there might be a problem statement. Let's take the problem statement of you have been given two numbers, take the numbers, display the sum of it, and then assign the number to some variable and print the square of it. So how we are going to do that, because our definition or previous definition what we looked into, that was not showing me anything right now. Okay, it was just printing out a statement, but it was not giving me any return value. So let's look into the return. So def add same n1 comma n2. Oops. Now print is really optional. If you want to write the print, then it's up to you, but right now I'm not gonna write it print. What I'm gonna do is, let's start with creating a variable s equal to n1 plus n2, and then just return s. That's it. That's exactly what we have to do. So 4 comma 5, so it is giving me back an output of 9. Okay, it is returning me back an output of 9. Over here you can see that there is no output, it is just a print statement. If you want to assign it to somewhere, let's say sum equal to add a 4 comma 5, and if you print sum, it will show me back 9 because you have returned out a value in this. So that's how helpful and return function can be. Let's curate all of these into a single one. So def add n1 comma n2, and then let's just directly return n1 plus, let's write print add n1 plus n2, or 3 comma 4. So we are going to get 7. We are printing out whatever the value is returned back in this. Okay, you can also do it in a 2 stages. Okay, let me write this in 2 stages. So s equal to this, and then you can print s. Again, this is a small s, so make sure there is no typo. Okay, now let's look into some of the old problems that we are doing. Let's have a quick check on if any number is even or not. So def let's say check num1, or let's only take num, and we are going to return n modulus 2 equal to 0. Okay, if the number is even, it's going to return true, else it is going to return false. You can check. Let's copy this code, paste it up over here. If you pass any number 10, So 10 is an even number, it's returning true. 11 is an odd number, it is returning false. Now why it is happening, we have already discussed about how this happens. We are just taking the remainder and checking out if the remainder is completely divisible by 2 and gives us 0 as the remainder, so it will be an even number, else it will be odd. So the same thing we are applying over here. So whatever the number will be, it will be getting divided by 2, and if the remainder of that is equal to 0, then it will return true, else it will return false. So check 4. So this n is not defined, it's because it's num. So check 4, 4 is even. Okay, let's increase the readability of the code. Check even. Again pass check even. So check even, that's how you can check if a number is even or not. It is returning me back an value. Again, you can assign that value to somewhere else also for as per your need, but right now I don't want to assign it somewhere. Let's look into one last problem over here, and then we are going to jump into a next video where we are going to discuss about local and global space. So the last, let's write the problem statement over here. You are given with a list, pass that list to a function, and it should return me with all the positive numbers. Okay, all the positive number. Let's change it to markdown. Okay, you are given with a list, pass that list to a function, and it should, okay, I think that the font is quite big. It's not a quite a very big topic. Okay, so you are given with a list, pass that list to a function, and it should return me with all the positive numbers in the list. That's it. So let's code it out. So what all do you need? So what I mean by this is, if I pass in input this list, that is 1 comma minus 1 comma 2 comma minus 5, then 3 something like minus 7, and over here we have 8. Okay, and the output should be a new list that should be having 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 8. So all the positive numbers. Okay, so it should be returning back an new list that is having all the positive numbers. Okay, so we already have an list over here. Okay, we are going to check out with this list itself. We are going to take that as a test case. Okay, so let's start def. I'm going to write red pause, which stands for return positive, and over here I have again a my list, and then a colon. Now what you should be doing, let's break this problem out. So we should be creating out a new list. Now let's solve it back. Let's break out how to solve out this problem. So there will be 2 steps over here. Let me write. So this is the approach that you should be going on whenever you are trying to solve out any complex problem. You should be taking out from the basic steps of it and then go one after the other. So the first step will be to create a new empty list. So you should be having a new empty list, that is new empty list that will be initially empty, and then we are going to pass an empty, that is an conditional statement to check if the number is positive or not. If num pause, if num is pause, I'm just going to write in some various simple syntax. If num is positive, then we are going to append it to our empty list. So we are going to pass that num to our empty list. So we are going to do the same thing, and then at the end we are going to return back our new list. So let's break it out. So new list is equal to empty initially, then for item, let's take for num in new list, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to append it back over there. So new list dot append, and then I'm going to add num inside of it. That's it, and let's return my new list, that is new list list. That's it. Let's delete this cell. I hope you're clear with the steps of it. So first we had to create an empty list. Okay. Just break the full code into different chunks. Okay. We had to create an empty list, and then we had to pass an conditional block. Okay. If the num, okay, I haven't passed the conditional block. If num is greater than 0, then it will append it. Okay, so one by one it will take all the items from my list, and let's say in first of all I have 1, it will check that 1 is greater than 0. If 1 is greater than 0, it will append it at the end of the new list, which is initially empty, and one by one the positive values will be added into this. So let's check it out. So ret pause, and inside of this I'm going to pass out this one. Let's copy this out, paste it over here. Oops, so we have created a blunder over here. We have taken a typo. So again, if num is greater than, so somewhere we have been going wrong. It's because we are checking my list. Let's redefine our code, new list, and let's check. So we are getting all the positive numbers. That's how you should be solving out a problem. Okay. We are iterating my list. One by one the values are taken into num. We are checking out. If num is positive, we are just appending it to a new list, and at the end I am just returning back my new list. So that's it for this video. We have learned a lot about return function and how much it is helpful. We are going to solve some more new problems in our next video, but before that, congratulations, you have almost completed functions.